Good morning, Sac City. Welcome into another edition of Sac City Podcast. I am your host, the one and only Vinny Milani, joined as always by my best friend in the whole entire world. He is Aaron the Mukes, I am Mukes. And below us, we have your boy, my boy, and everybody's boy. He is AJ Johnson. It is a beautiful November 17th morning here in the city. Episode 119 is about to kick off. We've got Week 11 football on the horizon, kicking off tonight with our Thursday night matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers. We will have our DFS plays for that coming up to end the show. We're previewing 5 games today, including some big-time matchups between teams like the Cowboys and the Vikings, NFC West showdown between the Cardinals and the Niners. It's going to be good stuff. I don't do this often. How are you guys doing? And really, I'm asking this to stall to prepare for morning headlines. Aaron, how are you?
I'm trying to stall too. I'm working over here. I got shit's hitting the fan. I don't know. It's football. I'm good, man. If football's around, I went to the Hawks game last night. If you want to stall, it's a pretty cool story. I went to the Hawks game last night, and I bumped into Dominique Wilkins.
I don't know.
He's really tall. He's a rip.
Lord.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Lord help us all, Savior.
What?
Somebody needs to pray to Patrick Mahomes right now. Anyways, so I bumped into Dominic. The human highlight film, one of the greatest dunkers of all time, used to play for the Atlanta Hawks, one of the greatest players that's ever played this game of basketball. You're an absolute loser, okay? That'd be like me walking around and be like, who's Wayne Gretzky? Who's Mark Messier? Like, come on, I'm not a hockey fan, but I know these legends. Like, it's disrespectful for you to come on this show that started as the Rough Cut Sportscast, which was all sports, and not know who Dominique Wilkins is. It's an absolute travesty. You should be ashamed of yourself.
At this point, I barely remember hockey players' names, though, with all the football we're covering in life.
You're not helping. You're not helping. Making it worse.
Where I'm at in my life right now, people will ask me hockey questions, and I'll be like, I don't have the answer to this because I don't like my mind. I'm stupid. My mind is stupid. I have a one-track mind, and if I'm focused on football, that's it. I forget about hockey. I forget about everything.
What's the last hockey game you watched?
You have just set men back years.
I always have it on. But like my memory of things, the last hockey game I remember is me losing money on Monday because I bet I didn't bet. It was a mess. We've got a great show ahead of us, though. Basketball. Dominique Wilkins. I'll Google him. I'll go to the Googs and I'll Google him. I'll look up his mixtape and we'll get into that.
His mixtape.
All right, let's get into some football talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
You know, I did all that to stall for some morning headlines. I don't think that there was like that many headlines that needed to be brought up here right now as I scroll through to try and find something to bring up. Deshaun Watson practiced yesterday. We talked about it and mentioned it yesterday in our morning headlines for our power ranking show, saying that he was going to be practicing. He did practice. He looked good. He looked ripped. He looked great in practice. Obviously, that does not matter, but he did take it with the second team. In other news, Amari Rodgers got signed by the Houston Texans. Who did Amari Rodgers get signed by? Who did he get signed by? I just saw it. I just read it, and I lost it. I'm a mess.
That prep was great.
Yeah.
So you're late for the show for that to give us the wrong information and then stall to give us wrong information or not
Amari Rodgers. Amari Rodgers is with Houston because of their top priority. Oh, I actually got it right, but I saw the Panthers name in there because Field Yates tweeted saying that the Panthers also put a claim in for Amari Rodgers. Hot commodity. I'm trying to tell you guys, this guy's on the rise. He's going to take over the NFL. Amari Rodgers signs with the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson's back at practice. That's all I've got for morning headlines. Unless there's something else that you guys want to get into, maybe the XFL draft.
No, gosh, man.
Davis Bryant can draft the fifth overall.
I don't know what Vinny's on today. But there is a small headline that I think we need to talk about because it impacts a game that could possibly not be played on Sunday. With all the snow that's supposed to come into Buffalo, there's a chance that the Buffalo and Cleveland Browns game is moved. They're expecting 3 to 6 feet.
6 feet.
Like, I say let them play, man. I say let them bury in the snow and see what happens. But I love snow games. I'm hoping they don't move it, and I hope it snows. I just hope it's not as bad, obviously, so they can play. But there's a chance that game could be moved. Maybe it's Monday. Maybe it's – I don't know. Who knows? It's not going to obviously impact. It's going to be played eventually. But I always find that interesting because that does throw off schedules for teams. It makes the next week shorter, right? If they don't have a bye or anything like that, they get extra days to prepare for it. So there's a chance that game could be moved. I thought that was an interesting little nugget that NFL threw out there.
Is this just a Buffalo? This obviously is just a Buffalo thing with like their games are always getting moved for some reason. With the COVID, they played on that weird Tuesday, and then now the snow might push their game back. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
My Florida came out this morning. We had our first West Virginia snow last night, and
God damn it! Everybody's getting snow but us.
I don't
have any snow.
Up here. I had to go out and play with it a little bit, check out, see if I enjoy it as much as, or if it's as treacherous as us Floridians think. It's not. So far.
It'll become miserable in a few weeks.
Have you never experienced snow before, AJ?
I was like 13. First time I saw snow, I went snowboarding. Epic. Fun fact, It was in West Virginia.
You'll have to shovel it, and it'll become slush and mud and just gross. It'll become miserable in a few weeks, I promise you. Oh, okay. Oh, I got my my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Moved to a new city and already got the people for that.
There is one other small headline that I did just scroll through. This is what happens when I get to take time to scroll through. Taylor Heineke was named the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. That has been a big topic on the show for the past few days, whether or not it'd be Wentz, whether or not it'd be Heineke. Ron Rivera came out and said, Taylor Heineke's our guy. This is a no-brainer, right? This is a no-brainer. Is it Heineke from here on out, AJ?
I mean, I would say so. Even in his worst moments, it didn't look as bad as Carson Wentz. The surrounding forces around Taylor Heineke look like they're happier to play for Taylor Heineke, and I think that goes back to what everyone said about Carson Wentz and his demeanor in the locker room, his role as a quote-unquote leader. It just may not be there. And I mean, Terry McLaurin has looked better. He's a franchise piece. You have to keep him going. These guys are playing for Taylor Heineke, and Taylor Heineke plays like he knows every snap could be his last with that guy back there. And they've looked a lot better with him under center than they ever did with Carson Wentz. It should be until Taylor Heineke gives you a solid reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, doesn't need to be a solid reason. There's no reason why Taylor Heineke shouldn't play the rest of the season. There's nothing that he can do, in my opinion.
It'd have to be a stretch. But you look at what's going on in New Orleans, and I would agree. Like, ain't no
We've seen the Carson Wentz experiment in the NFL is over, guys. He's a backup quarterback. I said it. This was his last chance. This was his last chance, and he started 1-4. Whatever. He's just not good, man. He's not good. He's done.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, Taylor Heineke is now the new starting quarterback. Or will continue being the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. You mentioned Andy Dalton. He will remain the starter for the New Orleans Saints this coming week as the Rams come to town. We'll have that preview coming up in just a few moments. But Aaron, it's your time to shine. Let's get into the injury report.
That's right. It's time for our injury report. We're going to start right here tonight, Thursday Night Football. Tennessee Titans taking on the Green Bay Packers. Titans have some injuries, but we got to talk about Ryan Tannehill first. He is completely off the injury report. He is full go. Ryan Tannehill is back, Tennessee Titan fans. You guys got a chance to win some more regular season games. Amani Hooker is out. Center Ben Jones is out. Bud Dupree out. Randy Bullock and Lonnie Johnson have already been ruled out. Two players questionable for the Titans. Jeffrey Simmons, that would be a big loss for them. He's an anchor in the middle of that defense. Probably their best defensive player, to be honest. And defensive back Elijah Molden is also questionable for tonight. We'll see if they play. For the Packers, Devondre Campbell and Romeo Doubs have already been ruled out. And doubtful is Jean-Charles Shamar, cornerback, depth piece. Questionable, David Bakhtiari and Elgin Jenkins. That's been kind of the question mark all season for those guys. So we'll see if they can play. Those are two big pieces, obviously, for the Green Bay Packers. Looking ahead to this weekend, again, yesterday was Wednesday. There is a lot of injuries that people did not practice, so I'm not going to go through most of them. I think we saved that for tomorrow and for Sunday. But I did want to mention, obviously, Deshaun Watson was back at practice. You talked about that. Carolina Panthers, we talked about Baker Mayfield moving into the start because PJ Walker is out with a high ankle sprain. I think that's pretty important. Mark Andrews was limited in practice on Wednesday. They're looking to get him. That was his first practice since October. So they're looking to get him back in Baltimore. I think that's huge for that offense. Cole Holcomb, I thought was a big loss for the Washington Commanders. I thought that would impact that game more on Monday night. He didn't. He was still not practicing for Washington, so that could be something to also monitor as we go forward. A.J. Brown did get hurt in the game the other day. He came back and played, but he did not practice on Wednesday. So maybe a rest day, maybe something's wrong with that ankle, as well as Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelce. So there are some injuries piling up for Philadelphia. You got to keep an eye out for those. And then there's just a long list of did not practice, and it is what it is. We will wait till tomorrow to find out who really is hurt and who really is just getting a rest day for that veteran or Wednesday that most people do.
Yeah, we'll have all of the injury news throughout the week, especially on our Sunday show when we're doing Pigskins and Pancakes, our fantasy football show. We'll have all the inactives and actives for your Sunday matchup. So be sure to tune in to our show at noon on Sunday. AJ, tell them you got to get your social reads out here. We got to start paying bills on this show, okay? Bills got to be paid. We haven't been doing it in a while. We got to pay some bills. Tell the beautiful people at home where they can follow us at.
It's always me paying bills. I hate paying bills. All the money coming to my pocket. If you're going to take money out your pocket, give it to Sac City Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And the way you do it is you hit that like, you hit that follow, you hit that share, and then you rave about it all over the world. I want you to run up and down your street just yelling at everybody, I just subscribed to the Sac City Pod. You should too. It's that simple. Head over to Sac City Pod. Go on Facebook and hit the like. Go on Twitter, hit the follow. Go on Instagram, hit the follow. Go on YouTube, hit subscribe. Go on TikTok, hit the follow. And tell somebody about it at Sac City Pod. Good morning, Sac City. Your boys are right here in town where they belong.
That's right. Let's do this damn thing. Let's get into our NFC.
Let's do this damn thing.
The Chicago Bears travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, the 3-7 Bears, the 4-6 Falcons. It's a hometown return for Justin Fields. Grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, taken just 7 picks after one. Kyle Pitts went to the Atlanta Falcons. This game might come back to haunt the Falcons for not drafting Justin Fields when they had the chance. They instead took Kyle Pitts in that same draft. But I digress. I'll let that haunt AJ's dreams and not mine. The Falcons are favorites here by 3 points with an over-under of 49. AJ, what are you expecting to see just in general in this matchup between the Falcons and the Bears?
You know, we've said this for the Falcons' last 3 or 4 games at this point now. This game should be over very quickly. It should happen to take an hour and a half because everybody is going to run the ball. That's what we expected the last couple of weeks. We saw a lot of that. I think we're going to see that again between the Bears and the Falcons. They're two of the more run-heavy teams in the league. The Bears have a 200-plus rushing yard game in 5 straight games. That's the second longest streak in the Super Bowl era in the NFL. And we know that the Falcons come out and they line up and they push behind that once upon a time putrid offensive line, and now not so putrid, just good enough to keep the run going. This is going to be a game where, for the Falcons, they're catching the Bears at a bad time. They're going to have to play damn near perfect football. We need another one of those outings by Marcus Mariota where the completions come aplenty. He's making quick, smart throws, and they're not heaving it down the field just at desperation. You know, those plays have to be, strung together by short completions and good runs and reason to make the defense respect the fact that you're moving the ball down the field. I expect this to be a run-heavy, gritty, ground and pound, which defense can play the best type of football game. And the defense that can hold best, because neither of these run defenses are fantastic, will be the one that comes out with this W on the other side.
Yeah, and talking about W's, the Bears have lost 3 straight games now. And Aaron, we've been high on the Bears in 3 straight losses. Like they've been losing, but it's been the way Justin Fields has been playing that we're like, okay, it doesn't matter if it's an L. This team is growing. They're building. They're getting Justin Fields involved more. They're basically finding what works for Justin Fields and going with it. But eventually you have to start winning in this league. And I know you're young, you're developing, and maybe not now. Like they're a young team. It's understandable. But Aaron, how do the Bears turn those L's into wins, especially in this matchup against the Falcons?
I don't know. First of all, my pick's wrong in the doc, so that's wrong. I put the wrong team, but okay, I'll go with it. I think the Bears, we talked about what the Bears have been doing. I don't think we've been impressed with the Bears. I think we've been impressed with Justin Fields. We've been impressed with the coaching because they're putting him in good situations to allow him to do what he does best, which is get outside the pocket, extend plays, and use his athleticism to be a better quarterback. And that's okay early in his career. That's what you want to do when you have a young quarterback that's still learning how to read defenses. But with that being said, I don't necessarily think wins and losses are important for the Bears this year. We know they're devoid of talent. We know that they don't have the pieces around Justin Fields to actually be successful in this league right now. I think it's about the development of Justin Fields, and that's it. So I'm not looking for the Falcons, or I'm not looking for the Bears to go out there and just beat teams week in and week out. We saw it last week. Justin Fields plays great. They lose to Detroit. We saw it the week before. Justin Fields plays great. They lose to Dallas. Like, we've seen what the Bears are when Justin Fields plays great right now. He is just not enough to carry them because their defense is bad. They traded their 2 main defensive players. They got young guys on the back end, and the offensive line is still atrocious. And they've now lost Khalil Herbert. They don't have the wideouts outside of Darnell Mooney. Chase Claypool really hasn't ingrained himself yet into that roster. So I'm not looking for anything special from the Bears. I'm just looking for Justin Fields to continue to grow. And with that being said, I did put it in the doc, the Bears, but that's not what I meant to put in the doc. I thought I typed the Falcons, but I was half asleep last night coming from Atlanta. I have the Falcons winning this game. I know I messed you up, Vinny, already on game 1, but I do have the Falcons winning this game, not the Bears. I have the Falcons winning 27-24. The main reason why is at home. They're very similar teams, 2 top 5 rushing offenses. I like the experience of Mariota at home. I like Cordell Patterson to have a nice day here. And I just think there actually is more weapons on the outside for Atlanta in Kyle Pitts and Drake London than there are for the Bears. And just the way they run their offense. The play action game for Atlanta is really good at times. And I think it shows up in this game. I think the Falcons win this game 27-24. Sorry, I screwed up your graphic.
No, honestly, I was thinking about this last night too. And I'm like, I do, and in real life, in our broadcasting world, like you submit your picks and changes. Really, that's it. Like once the show's made, the show is made. But as I progress through, there's a lot of the analysts that I work with that change their minds last minute, and I'm starting to think to myself, these scores that I make and the graphics that I make, it's okay to change. It's okay. Like it is okay to have a different thought than you had on Saturday morning when you're making these picks, or Saturday night when you're making these picks. You wake up and maybe you want to change it. I've been back and forth on this game with the Bears and the Falcons because it is a home game for the Falcons, and the Bears, I don't know if they're like, there's a reason why they're losing these games, and it's maybe because they're just not there yet. There's just a little bit more experience when you look at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm gonna just hold this down. I'm gonna lock my pick down. I'm not gonna waver on it. I'm gonna say the Bears win 31-24. I'm gonna keep it down on that and not play towards what you just said. Although it was very convincing, and I do think the experience is gonna matter in this game for the Falcons. But I'll give the Bears the win 31-24.
Yeah, I just the Bears have been hot over the last couple weeks. You're right, though, the close games that they're not really figuring out, and they're just kind of losing at the last couple minutes there. Last week was a division outing and a team that was really just fired up and hyped against the Detroit Lions, and they snuck out a one-point win. Over the last couple weeks, the Bears have scored 31 points a game. I think something like that continues, giving up to the Falcons, who are only scoring about 16 points per game in the last couple outings. With one of the worst run defenses in the league, hopefully they get A.J. Terrell back, which helps the offense of Chicago Bears stay one-dimensional, and then you only really have to focus on the run. As we just talked about, there's not many outside threats for the Bears. But I do think this rushing game will be an issue for the Falcons, and they won't be able to score enough to keep it up with them. It's still going to be a close game. That's what these teams do. But I got the Bears in this one 30-24, sadly.
I see what you did there. I am going to this game in a little bit of different capacity, though. I'm going as a fan. So I'm not covering the game. I'm going. My son flies in on Saturday. I'm just going to go pick him up from the airport. We're going to go watch the Falcons Bears. Not that I'm a fan of either team, but just a fan of football. Going to go watch the game and hang out for a little bit, and then so I don't think the jinx applies really at this one. Yeah, but I will be there. I will be there.
I was looking at the other jinx. I'm still worried. I think I figured out how this one's going to work. The Bengals are going to escape it because they were on bye last week. And even though the Panthers carry on through a bye, there's another team they beat since that. So I think the Bengals escape it. The Falcons just played the Panthers. And if you just played the Panthers, you're destined to lose. And it's sad. It's sadness. It's sadness.
Okay.
The next game on our list that we're going to cover, it's the Los Angeles Rams at 3-6 traveling to New Orleans to take on the 3-7 Saints. The Rams are looking to avoid another loss that would make it actually 4 straight losses, their first 4-game losing streak since 2016. They're looking to avoid that. They're taking on the New Orleans Saints, who are favorites in this game by 3.5 points with a over-under of just 39. Matthew Stafford might be back for this game. He missed last week. It was John Wolford. Matthew Stafford dealing with a concussion. I feel like it's not so much about Matthew Stafford missing this game, but knowing the fact that Cooper Kupp will be missing this game. He's been placed on IR. Aaron, we talk about it all the time about this Rams team, how they need to develop more, not chemistry, but they need to get more pieces other than Cooper Kupp involved to help this offense grow. Well, now they're going to be forced to do that because Cooper Kupp's not there. Who do you expect to step up, and who really has to step up the most if the Rams want a shot at kind of steering this ship back on track? And obviously the playoffs, we've talked about it before. It's tough.
There is no steering the ship back on track. I don't think that's the motivation here. I don't think that's the mindset. Don't get me wrong. I know the team wants to, let's get it back on track. Maybe we can still make it. But the mindset to me, if I'm Sean McVay, is how do I improve this team going forward? Where are my young pieces that I can build from? Who am I looking? Now I'm evaluating who belongs on this team and who doesn't. I'm getting guys like Kyron Williams involved. I'm getting guys like Van Jefferson. Hey, are you something that I can use long-term coming back from that injury? Because I need to see more from you. Allen Robinson, we just paid you. Is this a 1-year situation with Allen Robinson? And you say, hey, man, maybe we need to look elsewhere for a wide receiver help because you're not cutting it. You can't get separation. This is what I'm doing now. I'm evaluating players and personnel at all levels, whether it's starting, backup, moving on from Cam Akers in the offseason. Why can't I think of his name? Who the hell is their running back?
Henderson?
See, that's
Darrell Henderson.
Darrell Henderson. I was just like, Darrell Henderson, are you going to cut it? Are you going to come back next year? I'm evaluating. I'm not thinking, hey, let's win a game and have a chance at the playoffs. I know they're not too far back. I know they're only a game or two out from the wild card position, but this team is done. This team is not going to the playoffs. They can't even win games with Cooper Kupp. They're not winning games without Cooper Kupp. Could they beat the Saints? Sure, maybe, but who cares? Matt Stafford got a bum elbow, got a concussion. He got to make sure he's healthy. I think this is about evaluating players and personnel and coaching staff and saying, look, we don't have much capital, draft capital in the next coming years. How are we going to retool this team to where next year we can be a competitor again, somebody that's a contender for another Super Bowl? I think that's it. I don't think it has to be much more than that. They are going to lose games. They are. They're going to win. They'll win some because they got Matt Stafford in there and they'll make some plays. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, whatever. But this is not some long-term, hey, we're going to win 5 in a row. We're going to get back in the playoff hunt. We're going to make a deep playoff run. This is not that. They do not have the Green Bay Packers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers situation right now of a team that I feel can do that because they've been banged up in one spot all year. That is their Achilles heels. It's the offensive line, and they can't run the football on any level. They can't do it. So, and they haven't shown to be like Tampa where they can win games and be in an easy division and all that stuff. So I think this is just about evaluating talent.
And Tampa has that one guy. He's what's his name? Oh yeah, Tom Brady, the greatest
Rashad
running
White
back of all time. Bingo, the greatest running back of all time, Rashad White. But let's talk about the NFC South and how it could be wide open for the New Orleans Saints to come back. And they're not completely dead yet. There's a lot of teams that we talk about being completely dead. I don't know if the Saints are one of those. They could crawl back, but losing games 20-10 to the Pittsburgh Steelers make it hard to believe in that. AJ, how do the Saints make us believe? What do they have to do in this game to make us believe that they can come back in this?
I mean, they need to give Alvin Kamara the ball. I mean, you're right. The NFC South is wide open, and they're not dead in the water, but they haven't done themselves any favors on many accounts. I mean, only scoring 11.5 points in back-to-back losses at this point. They've lost 4 out of 5, and ironically enough, they're 11.5 points in back-to-back games. Kamara's getting 11.5 touches in the past 2 games. See a correlation here? Maybe if you give him 20 or 30 touches, who knows? Maybe you score 20 or 30 points. Alvin Kamara is going to be this offense when you don't have a Jarvis Landry all season, when you don't have a Michael Thomas all season, and when you can't decide whether or not Taysom Hill is your quarterback, running back, or tight end. They're not doing themselves any favors. To me, it baffles me because 2 weeks ago, this first place was up for grabs in this division, and you had a chance to go and get it. And it feels to me like the New Orleans Saints rode Andy Dalton off of a 24-0 win over the Las Vegas Raiders. And if you look at that team right now, doesn't really seem like that's the best formula to go off of. In that game, you went 22 for 30, 229, and 2 touchdowns. And they were 3-5 that week. At that point in time, the number 1 Falcons were 4-4. Since that point, Andy Dalton's got 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions in the past 2 weeks, and they still haven't decided whether or not, I guess for this week they decided, but if they're going to go back to Jameis Winston at all, who you're paying about $15 million to sit on your bench. I'm not sure if they really believe Andy Dalton is going to turn this around. I'm not sure if they believe he's the best fit to get Alvin Kamara the ball and make this a run-heavy offense, a circus around your best player. But to me, in this situation, this is a must-win game for the Saints. You have a Los Angeles Rams team who's depleted, who's devoid of their best offensive weapon, who we haven't seen can run the ball, and that's the best way to beat the Saints as of late. It's going to be kind of tough for me to believe that the Rams can get this one done unless once again, the New Orleans Saints don't do themselves any favors. I think they will. I have the Saints winning this game 21-17.
Yeah. I don't know about the whole Andy Dalton situation. I think Jameis Winston's still hurt, to be honest. That's my opinion. And that's why they're kind of reluctant to bring him back. But they said he has a broken back. But I also agree. I think the Rams just in this one I think the Rams are toast. The Saints are probably toast too, to be honest. I don't think they have a chance to get back in it. But I'm going to go with the home team here, 23-16. Ugly game. I don't really know. I flipped a coin, picked the Saints just because I like their uniforms better. And Jameis Winston be eating them dubs.
Hey, that's how my wife picks games by jerseys and how funny players' names are. So maybe that's
sometimes you just honestly don't know. Like the Rams are playing so bad, the Saints are playing so bad. I honestly couldn't tell you which team is in a better situation right now. I don't know about the health of some players on the Rams. Maybe that's why I'm leaning towards the Saints. At least Andy Dalton's a veteran. They do have Alvin Kamara, who's going to be the best player on the field. Now, whether they get him the ball or not, who knows? Yeah. But they should. I don't know. I just think I like the weapons in New Orleans even better. That's sad because I'm telling you, I like Chris Olave better than I like Allen Robinson right now. And that's the ultimate indictment on the Rams, you guys, because I'm taking Chris Olave right now over Allen Robinson, and you guys know how I feel about Chris Olave.
I think it comes down to all the pieces that the Saints have, and obviously my score does not show much faith in any of these offenses. 18-13 Saints, but I think it comes down to the fact that the Saints do just have a little bit more weapons that have been more consistent this season than what the Rams have. You Alvin Kamara, throw in Taysom Hill, Jarvis Landry is going to be back in this game. Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson's been productive at the tight end position for the Saints. Andy Dalton has seemed to like him, and I just can't. I think that's like triple of what the Rams have in terms of productivity in their weapons that are not named Cooper Kupp. And if you have that on top of Matthew Stafford possibly being hurt, it's just a recipe for success. I think it's a low-scoring game. 18-13 Saints. Hold your nose on this one. It is going to be gross.
A stinker.
The next game on our list, hopefully you weren't saying that this one is going to be a stinker, because this should be an absolute shootout. And by that, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in this game. But that's why we pay you guys the big bucks, for you to tell me what's going to happen in this game. It's the Detroit Lions at 3-6, traveling to take on the Giants at 7-2. The 7-2 Giants, that's just, I don't think I'll ever get over saying that one this season. But they are 7-2. They're favorites in this game by just 3 points, with an over-under of 45. Now, Aaron, I always go to you with these questions. You can laugh at me. You can rip on me all you want. But if my math and my memory serves me correctly, that when we look at the spread, we look at the lines on things, the home team gets 3 points automatically. That's how this works. The Giants
you have definitely take that and run with that. It's not always.
But really what I'm trying to get at here is this is a 7-2 New York Giants team that I feel like continues to get disrespected in terms of like who they're matched up against. The Lions, sure, they're coming off back-to-back wins, a big win last week for them. They beat the Packers before. Like, they're getting some good wins, but when do we start giving the credit to the New York Giants? Is this disrespectful to only say that they're 3-point favorites?
No. Look at the Giants. Look at the way the Giants play football. They every game has been a one-score game except for one. Every game has been a one-score football game. It doesn't matter who they play. The Bears, one-score game. The Jaguars, one-score game. Green Bay, one-score game. Titans, one-score game. Texans, one-score game. It doesn't matter. And to be honest, that Seattle game was a one-score game until the end. Richie James kept fumbling the damn ball, and Seattle ended up beating him. But every game they've played in has been a one-score game. So Vegas also accounts for trends and trending like, hey, we know how this team plays football. They run the ball. It's low scoring. They need everything to go right in order for them to have a really good day. So having a one-score game or a 3-point line is not surprising to me. This team is not over the top on offense. They are not superior to a lot of teams offensively. They do rely heavily on Saquon Barkley, and I don't think that changes in this game. I think they are going to play their brand of football. The difference is, are they going to be able to take the football away from Detroit? Because if they are, then they can win by more than 3. If they're not, then it's going to be a one-score game at the end of the game, and maybe they win because they're the better football team, but it still will be a one-score game. So, no, it doesn't shock me that – and I don't feel like this is disrespect. Disrespect is when you go and you give somebody an 11, 10, 12-point spread just because they've been winning football games and they have a nice record, and you're not accounting for all the other factors. That, to me, that's when you start getting disrespectful lines. I think this is a respect to the Detroit Lions that they play tough and that the Giants are not a juggernaut offensively and haven't been able to just put teams away. And I think that's what this line represents. No, I don't think it's inaccurate. I think if you wanted to push it to 4 or 5, you could. But this is the NFL, man. I say it every week. These games are one-score games for the majority of the time, and I expect this game to be another tight football game, at least until the end. And then, something happens where there's an extra score and you win by a touchdown or 2. That can happen. But for the most part, this is going to be a close game.
Yeah. AJ, what are you keeping an eye on in this game, either on the Lions side or it can be on the Giants side if we want to continue talking Giants?
No, we can go over to the Lions side. I think he did a good job covering what the Giants are going to be looking to do. On the Lions side, I mean, this is an exciting week for the Lions organization and the Lions fandom. They have a chance for a 3-game win streak. Who would have saw that coming at the beginning of this season? And honestly, it's in a good spot. Now, what New York has been able to do this season, it's been very impressive. We're all excited that New York football's back. I think that's good for the NFL. But the Lions have a pretty good formula to be able to stick around with the New York Giants. They've stuck around with a lot of good teams over this past season. If they can get DeAndre Swift out, if he's finally healthy, if they can finally give him the ball more than 13 times and still allow Jamal Williams to be a part of the offensive game plan, this New York Giants defense can be had on the run game. New York Giants like to blitz a lot. Well, Jared Goff actually is pretty good against the blitz. He's got him and Amon-Ra St. Brown have got this connection against the blitz, completing about 40% of their targets when he's blitzed compared to when he's not. So Amon-Ra last week had a great game, 10 for 11 targets. A lot of that came in the first half. I would love to see him keep a game like that going in the second half. And I understand you make adjustments on the defensive side of the ball. You start to, focus on the guy that's been hurting you all day. But in the same respect, the offense should focus on the guy that's been getting you where you're going and helping you get that W. So they have the right formula. Their players, this offense works best when DeAndre Swift is back, when Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy, and Jared Goff is going to his best guys. And against a team like the New York Giants, who keep the game close until the end, I think that's a dangerous game to play with the Detroit Lions. Now, I didn't go that direction, but I can see it. I can see this one also feeling like somewhat of a coin flip, and I flipped my coin with the New York Giants, who have been winning close games. I take them 30-27.
Yeah, I agree, but I think it's a little too high of scoring. I don't know that their Giants can score
I actually
30
meant to say
points.
those exact words. Score's kind of high, but
yeah, I don't know that they could get to that high. But hey, you never know. Defenses are bad on the Detroit Lions side. So, but I think this game is close, as I mentioned, as reflected in my score. I do think the Giants are a little bit better team at this point. Defensively, they're better. I think they're coached a little bit better than what Dan Campbell's able to do. Plus, the talent of Saquon Barkley, I think, is going to be too much. Give me the Giants here, 24-23.
I will make it a clean sweep for the New York Football Giants. I'll say 26-23, another close game as well. I think, like you said, the coaching matters a lot. I think the defense matters a lot. And, well, the Detroit Lions don't actually play defense, I hear, in Detroit. So give me the Giants here.
Whoa. They just held the Packers to 9 points 2 weeks ago.
Buddy, they're like the worst team in just about every statistical
won last week's game due to Jeff Okudah's pick six. I mean,
yeah, disrespectful.
Yeah, there's the disrespect. We start this game by talking disrespect. We end this game talking about disrespect. Clean sweep for the New York Giants over the Detroit Lions. The next game on our list, it is the Dallas Cowboys at 6-3, traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings at 8-1. The Cowboys are favorites in this game by 1.5 points with an over-under of 47.5. Both these teams last week coming off of some extra football, playing some overtime games, some overtime thrillers. Probably both these teams are featured in the most exciting games of the week last week, with the Cowboys falling to the Packers and the Vikings defeating the Buffalo Bills, both in overtime. This is probably the game of the week, in my opinion. This is a big game for both these teams. Aaron, what do the Minnesota Vikings have to do in this game to continue to prove I don't want to say prove the doubters wrong, but I don't think anyone thought that they would be 8-1 to this point. And I don't think anyone thought that they'd be here. What do they have to do in this game to continue saying we are that team? I mean, you put them in the top 3 this week in the power rankings, I think. You have them very high. What do they have to do in this game?
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm confused. Talk about the disrespect. Vikings have a loss, and it was a bad loss to Philadelphia. What?
I was gonna go this route, but then I backed off going this route because you.
Talk about the disrespect. Minnesota has one loss, and Vegas doesn't believe in them. I looked at that, I saw the Cowboys. Whoa, they're favored. It's just strange. It is strange, but it goes to show you how Vegas feels about this Minnesota Vikings team. And I've said it all year. We did a short about it. I released it. Like, as good as they've been playing, the way they've been winning, they've been very opportunistic. They've had fortunate things go their way. And I'm telling you right now, number one, teams need this in Super Bowl runs. We've watched the Cincinnati Bengals have it last year. When teams go on these special Super Bowl runs, the Philadelphia Eagles in 2017, it starts right there. Getting the bounces to go your way. The one-handed catches where a guy is holding it and actually shoves it into your hand and you make the catch. And a pick six, you rip it out of somebody's hand and you go the other way with it. Those things, when you start to see those things happen continuously throughout a season, you start to wonder, is it just their year? And so the Minnesota Vikings kind of have that feeling like everything is going right for them. And so I wonder, and I think this is why people don't believe in them, because I think people eventually will say that can't happen forever, right? And that's not sustainable throughout the NFL season. But we watched how many things have gone right for them, but they're also a good team. So when you get everything going right for you and you're a good team, that makes for a Super Bowl contender. And so I'm wondering how this line is 1.5 Dallas's way, but I do understand it. I do think Dallas is a good football team, and it would not shock anybody if they go in there and beat Minnesota. And I think that's what Vegas sees here. But Minnesota just has to stay true to who they are. Kirk Cousins has to play well. He has to play well. Or you're not going to get Justin Jefferson doing what he did every week. And it's going to be a battle between him and Trayvon Diggs this week. Somebody else is going to eventually have to step up. It can't always be Justin Jefferson. I said it about the Rams and Cooper Kupp. It can't just always be that guy. They can come through in big moments, but it can't just, the whole game can't be about Justin Jefferson and you expect to win football games, especially when it matters. So we need Thielen to step up. Dalvin Cook's got to be good. And Minnesota will do well if they don't sell out, oh, we need to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. Run the football. If they do what Green Bay did, because Dallas will let you do that, they are not going to stack the box on you. They don't care how much you run it. They are going to take their chances, and they think they're going to win more times than they're going to lose that way. And so I say give the ball to Dalvin Cook 30 times in this game. Him and Alexander Madison, if he's playing, and just run, hit Jefferson. Run, hit Jefferson. And hopefully that's enough to get it done. But Minnesota, I don't know that they can do that. I don't know that Kevin O'Connell has it in him to just do that. And I think that might be the downfall of this game, is them trying to throw the ball more than they actually have to.
Yeah, the Cowboys have allowed 200 rush yards in back-to-back games for the 9th time in franchise history. So running it with Dalvin Cook is quite the recipe for success to have your way against the Dallas Cowboys defense. AJ, let's turn our attention to the offense, though. Ezekiel Elliott might be back in this game for the Dallas Cowboys, which means it'll be him and Tony Pollard again, the two-headed monster that they have. What do we expect to see in terms of the workload for Zeke in his first game back since week 9? He hasn't played since week 9. So his first game back since week 9. Week 8? Week 8? What is it?
Week 5?
Sorry. He's missed 2 games and the bye week.
That's it. So week 8.
It's been week 7.
Week 7. Jesus, math. Hard. AJ, what do we expect to see from the Cowboys offense with the now returning Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, who has been looking good in Ezekiel Elliott's absence?
Well, it took so long to get to this very simple answer. Exactly what you saw before he went out. 15, 16 touches, him carrying the bulk of the heavy and the pounded type of running rush game they like to have, and open the door for an explosive Tony Pollard run. I mean, this is an NFL tandem. People look at these guys and they're like, why isn't Tony Pollard starting? He's a better running back. This isn't fantasy football. This is the type of football you need to have an offense that can do the things that Dallas likes to do. They need to have a guy who's physical and can pound the ball and hurt the defense. Then they have to have a guy who can come in and run past those guys when they're beat up and slow. Then they have to have a guy in Dak Prescott who can find his number 1 receiver, who can spread the ball to his number 2 receiver, and who can get his tight end involved. This only happens when you open up with the run game, and that run game is only successful when you have 2 guys who can run it effectively in their respective styles. Zeke Elliott with the physicality and Tony Pollard with the explosiveness. And it's been a very good formula for them all season. If that offense can continue to click and run this ball the way that we have seen them able to do, and CeeDee Lamb can have another performance and keep showing people and reminding people why they let Amari Cooper go, that he is capable of being a number 1 star receiver on this offense, then you're looking at a team who's going up against a very happy, very high confident Minnesota's Vikings team. These are 2 teams coming off of last week where they're eager to show who they are. Minnesota still knows that people are questioning them, and Dallas just lost to a team that everybody expected them to go in and blow out. So both these teams are coming in here with something to prove, with something on their shoulder, and one of them is getting that chip knocked off. I don't know that it's going to be the Cowboys, though. I went the other route. I took the Minnesota Vikings in this. I think Dalvin Cook's run game is going to be efficient, and I think Justin Jefferson's going to have himself a fun time as well. Give me another close game for the Minnesota Vikings, 31-28.
Yeah, I have it the other way here. I do have Dallas winning this game. I think this is one of those, I don't want to say trap game, because it's hard for Minnesota to come back and get up again for another good opponent after the way they ended last week, such a high moment. Not saying they're going to get complacent or anything, but it's tough to come back and play it again, do it again. And I think Dallas understands what they went through last week, and they're going to come back more hungry. So I think it's just like the perfect timing for the Cowboys to get the Vikings. They're off a loss, knowing that they need to bounce back, and Minnesota's off that high energy win that they had to go play extra football for. I do think Dallas pulls this out. I think the game plan will be a little bit different this week. And I do think that I don't know if Trayvon Diggs is going to follow, but I think Trayvon Diggs is going to follow Justin Jefferson around. I'm not saying Justin Jefferson is not going to get his, but I think that makes it tougher for him to have one of those big 193-yard games because I don't think you want Deron Bland on Justin Jefferson. If that's the case, that could definitely change the game because Deron Bland was getting cooked by Christian Watson and Allen Lazard, and you can't allow that to happen. So I think Dallas makes adjustments on defense, and I think the Cowboys pull this one out 27-24.
So I got to split the tie. I got to split the tie here. I will go with I'll go with the Minnesota Vikings here. 28-27 Vikings. I think it's a close game. Another close game for the Vikings, a one-possession game where they win. That would make it 8 straight. They've won 7 now in one-possession games. And I think they do it here. I think the Dalvin Cook thing is a big point that you guys made. I think that's what ends up being the biggest factor in this one. And then I do think what you just brought up, Aaron, with the matchups and with the receivers and the cornerbacks that Dallas has. We saw what Christian Watson was able to do to the Dallas secondary, not named Trayvon Diggs. I think that
No. Don't put words in my mouth. Name Deron Bland. If Anthony Brown is back, that whole situation, Anthony Brown, for all the hate that he got last year, is a really good corner.
Where are we at with the Anthony Brown injury report?
I have not looked at it yet, but if he plays, this game that's a totally different conversation. I am comfortable with Anthony Brown. Deron Bland, a rookie against those veterans, I have some questions about. And
if he plays, maybe I'll switch my pick to the Cowboys. But as of right now, if he doesn't play, give me the Vikings here, 28-27, making it our first non-clean sweep on this show. Aaron, you have the Dallas Cowboys. AJ and I have the Minnesota Vikings.
Our first game was a non-sweep. Sorry.
Was it? Oh, because Aaron changed it up on the Bears. Unbelievable.
Look at this.
All right.
Are you serious right now? You're going too far.
Yeah. I went all out. It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
What
It was 3 o'clock in the morning.
I was like, where's the picture? I saw the Vista preview. And then I was like, wait, is that Kyler Murray?
I just noticed the Kyler Murray.
Is that Kenny Pickett's hands on Kyler Murray's body?
His whole body is Kenny Pickett's hand.
Unbelievable.
It was 3 o'clock in the morning when I was like, I'm just going to go wild. And I'm like trying to figure out the pronunciation for preview in Spanish. And like, you know how in the Spanish, okay, I'm going to pull this down here just to bullshit about this. You know, in Spanish, like with Spanish speaking things and the language and everything, like there's different ways to say certain things. Like preview can be said multiple different ways. So I'm like, dialects. Which way is it? And I didn't know. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to roll with this. And last night, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm blasting Spanish in my apartment, like trying to figure out the proper pronunciation of it. But either way, it's the Niners. It's the Cardinals. It's Monday Night Football. It's Mexico City. 5-4 Niners, 4-6 Cardinals. Battle in the NFC West. Cardinals not out of it yet, but if you look at the line on this one, the Niners are heavy favorites by 8 points with an over-under of 43.5 here. Aaron, last week we saw a Colt McCoy-led offense with the Cardinals not look bad. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this offense being like, some people are saying it's better than what the Kyler Murray offense was, which I just find just ridiculous to say. What does the Cardinals offense need to look like matched up against a very good defense in the San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah, it's going to have to be a dominating performance by DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's the only way. The wide receiver, the passing game has to be elite. Not that the Niners have a weakness because they're really good up front so they can get to the quarterback. But I think in order to effectively play offense against the 49ers, you have to have an effective passing game, and it has to be elite in those games. And you have to be able to block up front and get the ball out. Now, I think Kyler Murray is a better choice in this game, no matter what, because of his ability to move and extend plays. But I think there's something to be said about what you were talking about with Colt McCoy and the way the offense looked, but it's not because he's better than Kyler Murray. It's because we talk about this all the time. When you change your offense for Colt McCoy, you do different things. You're on timing routes. That back foot hits, that ball's got to come out. With Kyler Murray, you're using his abilities to his advantage, and sometimes that can lead to poor play. But it wasn't like Colt McCoy had a stellar day against the Rams. They didn't do anything special. They still couldn't run the ball. It was just they ran it more. That's the problem. They gave the ball to James Conner 21 times. He only ran for 69 yards, but they gave it to him. When Kyler Murray's in there, if they did that, they'd be a much more effective offense. But instead, they spread it all out. They tell little Jitterbug to run around and try to do his best to be hero, and that doesn't work. So they have to – the offense has to have an identity, and they don't. And this is what I talked about with their offense being broken. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know if they want to be this run-first team and let Kyler Murray use his ability, or do they just want to let Kyler Murray drop back and spread it all over the field? It doesn't have to be that way. Cliff Kingsbury has to just say, look, James Conner's healthy. He's going to get the ball 20 times. No matter how effective it is, he's going to get the ball 20 times. We're going to run play action. We're going to go to DeAndre Hopkins. And I think if they do that, this offense, you'll find, is a much better offense and much more explosive. And you'll notice that their points per game will go up. Their ability to move the ball down the field will go up. And Kyler will look like a better quarterback. But when they don't know and they don't run the ball and they're unsure and they just want to spread it out and say, Kyler, go win it for us. Yeah, he's going to struggle at times. So I think this has to be a big day for DeAndre Hopkins, though. If not, they don't have a chance. That's the only way they can win is DeAndre Hopkins goes off in this one.
49ers defense, definitely one of the top defenses in the NFL, make it hard for offenses to get going. DeAndre Hopkins definitely has to be a big part of that if the Cardinals want to have success. And even James Conner, I think, has to I think everyone has to contribute here if they want a shot. And that's like a generic thing to say. That's so stupid of me to say. Let me get some better analysis from you, AJ, at least on the 49ers side. Something that has been talked about since Sunday, since Sunday's win for the Niners, when they beat the Chargers 22-16, was the usage of Christian McCaffrey and the usage of the returning Elijah Mitchell. 18 carries for Elijah Mitchell, 14 carries for Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Shanahan said that that's kind of what it's going to be from here on out. Do you believe that? Do you think that that's how it's going to be for the 49ers rushing attack? Or what do you think? What do you think about the run game with now Elijah Mitchell in the mix?
I do. That's exactly where I was going to go with this. So if you came to me with the 49ers, this is what Kyle Shanahan likes to do. And arguably, even adding in Deebo Samuel to the mix, this may be the best backfield he's had that I can remember. And I was a Falcons fan, and in the young days of Devontae and Tevin when they were like talented. But you look at what Christian McCaffrey's able to do. You look at, they fell in love with Elijah Mitchell last season, and he was slated to be their guy this year until he got hurt. And bringing him back and seeing that he's in form, yeah, I absolutely think they want to run the ball and take as much off of Jimmy G's plate as possible. We understand Jimmy G is a great game manager, and he can make sure that they do enough to win a game. But it's easier to do that when you have the explosiveness of Christian McCaffrey, who can play football with the best of them, when Elijah Mitchell returns and looks to be in form and can handle an 18-carry workload. And then when Deebo Samuel barely even had to do much last week, only 6 touches, and you still got the W. I think this is one of those games where they're going to be able to do just about whatever they want, especially in the run game, because the Cardinals aren't great at stopping that run. They're better at stopping the pass than we expected them to be. But when it comes to the run game, you're looking down the barrel at Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and probably Deebo Samuel, and maybe Kyle Constance. Like, it's going to be a tough day for you. I think the 49ers have their way in the run game this upcoming week against the Cardinals.
Okay. What do you got for a score?
All right. Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to get any more.
Yeah, I did.
Any more analysis.
I got distracted by your Kyle Juszczyk, Kyle Constance.
Yeah, Kyle Constance. To be completely honest. All good. I got the 49ers in this 27-20. They're coming for that division lead. Seahawks better keep it going.
Oh, that division's over. There's no way the Seahawks are winning that division. Niners division to lose. But I will say this. I do have the Niners in this game, but to AJ's point about you asking, is this kind of what the workload looks like going forward? I agree to an extent. I think what we saw was a situation where they knew they could run the ball against the Chargers. And they knew that was their weak spot. So that's what they did. They ran the ball heavily. And that's what they want to do. They want to be a run-first football team. I think the touches are going to be distributed based on game script. There are going to be games where they're really, really close and they got to throw the ball a little bit more, and Christian McCaffrey's snap percentage will go up. But he had 18 touches in this game. It's not like – it wasn't like – or not even – I think it was maybe even more 18 touches. It was 18 touches. So 18 touches in this game. And – Elijah Mitchell, again, same amount of touches, but Elijah Mitchell got his opportunities a little bit more because of the fact that they were able to take a lead in the third quarter or late in that game and then just run it out. And they never wavered from the run game because they knew that was the weak spot of the Chargers. So I think as they go against teams that maybe decide, hey, we're going to stop the run, we're going to make Jimmy G beat us, we know who's on the field in those passing down situations. It's Christian McCaffrey. Third down back, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. They're going to get him involved. And I think this is, to AJ's point, this is what they want to do. As a football team, this is what they want to do. They want to have multiple weapons that are versatile. And this is why I said they're the most complete offense in the league, even despite having a inferior quarterback, in my opinion, is because you never know what they're going to do when they have certain personnel on the field. So I just think this team is destined to make another deep playoff run, and Jimmy G just can't screw it up. If they're ahead, they're fine. Game manager, ultimate game manager. If they have to rely on him to win it, he will fold. He will fold, and they'll lose. So give me the Niners in this one, though. I think they're better than the Cardinals 31-17, and they'll have that division lead here in the next couple of weeks.
Did you see the looks that the 49ers were giving teams when it was just Debo and Christian McCaffrey? Line them both up in the backfield on one side. You move one guy up, you move one guy out, and you never know who's going to attack. There's just so many different things they can do on this offense. When you think you have it figured out, the ball's going completely in a different direction.
I do say this is why I wouldn't have paid Debo, though. This is part of the reason why I wouldn't have paid Debo. We are seeing it now. You paid that man a lot of money.
Get Christian McCaffrey, though.
What I'm saying is, though, you paid that man to a lot of money to be a wide receiver. He's not really a wide receiver. He is not a traditional wide receiver. You can see it. He's more of a guy that has to get in space. And like I said, I told you I never thought he was worth it. I think that contract is one that in 2 years, they're going to regret.
Remains to be seen.
I mean, the production's already down.
Yeah, it is already down. But I think I was also on board with that Debo thing when we were talking about it around contract time. But I will go with the Niners making a clean sweep, 28-16. I think the Niners defense is good, very, very, very good. Not sure the status of Kyler Murray in this game too. His availability is still up in the air. We'll know about that closer to game time on Monday. But if it's Colt McCoy again, I know what they did last week against the Rams defense, and I mean, this Niners defense is no joke. And I think if you have Colt McCoy back there, it might be less than 16 points. And I split it. I was like, okay, if it's Kyler or if it's Colt McCoy, what do I expect the points to be for the Cardinals against this Niners defense? 16 points is what I came up with. And the Niners win 28-16. That does it for our previews for Week 11, our NFC home game previews, I should say. Tomorrow we'll have the remainder of Week 11. And all those games. What do we have tomorrow, gentlemen? What's the big game tomorrow? I'm trying to take a gander at it and see what the big games are for tomorrow, but I do not.
Browns and Bills, baby. No,
Browns, Jets, Patriots.
There's no real big Jets and Patriots, Bengals, Steelers. Chiefs, Chargers.
Bengals, Steelers.
Yeah.
Bengals, Steelers is more impressive, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Chargers have seriously underperformed.
Yeah,
so say it.
Yeah, we got the
I wonder who called that.
Mahomes against the Chargers.
Me too.
Oh, you're the
worst. Who called that?
All right, let's wrap this show up though. Let's get into our prime time plays for Titans Packers.
Yeah.
Let's get into our prime time DFS plays. I haven't even sent out the DFS the invite yet, to be completely honest.
It's right here.
You sends out automatically. You made it as a league, so it comes out recurring.
It sends it
out with the same 100 people, with the invites to 100 people. That's the thing.
No, I think people.
It sends it out automatically. I got it right here. I'm in.
Oh my god, I do this every week. Then I must have like 16 reoccurring. Oh my goodness.
So which one are we in?
Goodness.
That could be why could be why I was on Monday just by myself and like 6 random people.
So I don't have anything for my upcoming. Like, how do I don't. I'll send out a new one.
It's an invite. You mean your upcoming? What are you talking about? I literally right here. Yesterday at 2:39 p.m. you sent one for Sunday. You sent 2 of them for Sunday yesterday. Oh my God, you got.
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. I don't know what's happening. I'm just gonna send out
2 on Monday. You sent 2 on Monday, 2 on Sunday. Oh, you're terrible.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send a new invite, and that's the way it's gonna be. So our primetime plays for the Tennessee Titans against the Green Bay Packers. This is where we step in the DFS chamber and pick the best guys for the week. We don't do it draft style like we do on our Sundays. We invite 100 people to join us. And we see who can take the top spot in the prime time matchups. Thursday night features the Tennessee Titans and the Green Bay Packers. While I stall to get the invites out.
I know what you're doing. Hurry up.
I'm trying.
Jesus Christ.
You know what would make this easier if you accepted my friend request on DraftKings, so I don't have to type in your name
don't have
and
any
send you.
friend
Wait,
An
are you
requests.
telling me you're sending a new one and I missed it?
Yeah, there's a new one that has just been sent out. Then
Garbage.
you guys should have it. Titans,
Garbage.
Packers, DFS plays. Let's take a look and see what the prices are looking like and what everything is looking like and all this good stuff. So a little bit better. So this is a fairly okay matchup in terms of DFS plays. I think this is going to be interesting. Do you guys have it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
Okay.
What are you guys thinking? What's going through your mind?
Well, it's top heavy roster because I only want the good players.
Because I only want the good players.
Yeah. The captain, I don't know who to choose from a captain. I want to say that money. All right.
What a jam.
It was. All right. So
Shout out Lil Dicky.
I have this fear, and it looks like you have this same fear from what I can see. I have this fear.
Oh, this is my early lineups here. This is like my beginning. Like I'm just throwing whatever works, and then actually this is my lineup. I'm sticking with this, and I don't care.
I have a fear that Christian Watson's not going to finish this game.
He's made of glass, so that is not a surprise.
That's just like everyone's all excited and he's there and he had a great week, so obviously he's going to do it again. And I'm like, but in like 6 other games he got touched and like was out for the game. Like, doesn't that seem more likely than 4 catches for 3 touchdowns? You know?
Yeah.
But how do you ignore it?
Yeah.
All right. I think I can. I think I know what I'm rocking with.
Sammy Watkins Day. Yeah,
Nope.
my team is set while you're going through.
I got my team right here. Let me know. My captain is Randall Cobb. First game back, only $300, and he's going to play tonight.
Only 300? What?
Yeah, because he was on IR, and they didn't expect him to play, so he's back and he's going to play. I'm going to take a chance. I don't know how much he plays, but he's going to play. So give me Randall Cobb. Why is yours 200?
I don't know.
It's not a captain.
Oh yeah. I played him as captain. That's right. I played him as captain.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so then that allows me to get Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Alan Lazard, Aaron Rodgers, and Nick Westbrook-Ikini.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna rock with. But I need a big day from
Yeah, you did a big day for Randall
Cobb.
Yeah. That's funny. I didn't even realize that he was that cheap. That is really not a bad play at all. And I went with my love of Mercedes Lewis as my cheap play to and that may change things for me. AJ, what's your team looking like?
So I was also going to go with your Mercedes Lewis. I was about to ask you if you thought he was going to get into the end zone. And
no, I don't think he's going to get into the end zone. I'm just picking him because he's a former draft. Like there is zero. Yeah, there is zero analysis with this. Like there is zero analysis with it.
Yeah, so I was just sitting there. That was my last slot when he brought up Randall Cobb, and I was like, thanks. I'm not gonna not do that.
You guys are so whack.
Why would I not do that?
It's a great idea. I'm not gonna be ballsy enough to put him.
You told us about it. We're supposed to be like, damn it, Aaron.
Yeah, look, the whole point. You're so whack. You're so whack.
But he's your captain. That's the difference. So you
Yeah, I'm not doing
get different points because of it.
You guys are whack. It's just whack.
Before that happened,
I hope he doesn't play.
Before that happened, I had Alan Lazard as my captain, Aaron Jones, Derrick Henry, Christian Watson, and Treylon Burks. I'm hoping that the second game back is better for him than the first game, and hopefully I'm right.
Aaron, you can go to hell. I took off Randall Cobb. Aaron Jones is my captain. Derrick Henry, Aaron Rodgers. I can't even pronounce his name. I don't even remember his name, to be completely honest. But my Samurai Toure, is going to be in my lineup. Alan Lazard, and of course, Mercedes, my dude, Mercedes Lewis in my lineup. There you go. We just need to make sure we submit it. See, update entry. It's submitted. There you go. There you have
Enter.
it. She's in there
Free.
like swimwear. There you go.
Enter. Free.
That does it for
everybody that has Randall Cobb as their captain. You're punk.
Well, hopefully all of you have Randall Cobb as your captain, so that means that AJ and I can win because there's no chance in hell Randall Cobb's going to do that great in your captain spot. But I digress. I'll look like a fool tomorrow. That's how it normally goes. We'll be back live tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern time, bringing you the rest of the Week 11 previews and recapping the Titans and the Green Bay Packers. Until then, though, for my best friend Aaron Mukes and your boy AJ Johnson, I am me. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out. Randall Cobb, 6 for 100 and a tutty.
And a tutty. Oh, my goodness. Gonna have to change that background.
Peace out.
Bye. What?